Welcome all, Jared here, and please join me in exploring a bit of lost and haunted Savannah history. Because today, we've got Morticia there in the background, but we've driven on out to a very secluded area of Savannah, very far off the beaten path, so that I can show you something that hardly anybody gets to see. And that's a shame, because it's an area, it's a place that should be visited more, respected more, and known about more. And that is this: LePageville Memorial Cemetery. I bet you're wondering, what exactly is LePageville Memorial Cemetery? Well, it's a good question. LePageville Memorial Cemetery is the burial ground for over 500 unmarked graves. LePageville was a working camp that became a community started in the year 1880 by the railroad. And it was named after a Mr. LePage, who was the harbor master here on the Savannah River, which is that way. And LePageville went from this working camp to a bustling community. But sadly, LePageville was not to last. In the year 1967, the city of Savannah finally came in and destroyed what buildings remained of LePageville, just turning it into a vacant lot. Pretty much what you see now. Citizens of Savannah worked tirelessly when they found out that in 1967 they were going to turn this all into like a rec center and a softball field. When that came out, people from the local community worked very hard poring over historical records to try and prove to the city that this just wasn't a vacant field that they had bulldozed over, that this was a graveyard, a lost, forgotten cemetery. And it is. As I said before, about 500 unmarked graves are in this woods. People who were buried here between the years of 1880 and the late 1960s. There are no headstones, there are no grave markers. So when people walk back here and pay their respects to the dead of LePageville, you are walking on bodies. Hundreds and hundreds of bodies. The trees that you see all around you, these really didn't start popping up until the late 60s when they bulldozed the place. It is very peaceful here in LePageville. You can hear the sound of the river off in the distance, the birds and the trees, and that makes it a very pensive place. A very remorseful, contemplative place. Because I know when I like to come out here to LePageville, I just like to sit next to a tree and listen, hear the sounds of nature. But that's not all you will hear in LePageville, because for decades, people who have been out at the old LePageville Memorial Cemetery have claimed, I have to preface that, claimed, that they have seen ghosts, that they have seen shadowy figures walking amongst these trees, that they have heard their names called by unheard voices, unseen people, that they have seen flashes of light out in the distance. So, intrepid viewer out there, if you should find yourself visiting Savannah, Georgia, please take some time out of your trip to come on out here to LePageville. Lay some flowers on the ground, pay your respects. Because if there's one thing that we are all guaranteed, it's that one day we all will die. and we will be laid to rest in the dirt. And there is no stopping that.